Oh my god. Okay. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I have ADHD, so it's really difficult for me to concentrate on one thing. So let me think. Okay. Drink my coffee. Kratom. Hot topic. Is it safe? Well, I've been using Kratom for years. I used prescription drugs, I used alcohol, and I used street drugs before I found Kratom. And in my personal experience, Kratom is way, way safer than any of those synthetic drugs. First of all, clear the air here. Kratom's a plant. It's a plant. Period. The deaths associated with Kratom or attributed with Kratom, all that propaganda that the FDA and DEA is trying to push on us, was never Kratom by itself. Okay, keep that in mind. One dude was shot in the chest, another dude either jumped or fell out a window. All the other ones had street drugs or prescription drugs in their bodies as well. Prescription drug commercials will tell you straight up the side effects that can happen with the prescription drugs. They tell you right in the commercial. Okay? I know from personal experience, Lyrica and antidepressants do cause suicidal thoughts. Period. For me, opioids, Lyrica, tramadol, all that shit, none of that helped with my pain. None of it helped at all. I was more suicidal. I was more psychotic. My moods were unstable. I was in chronic, excruciating pain every day of my life, and I literally wanted to die. But Kratom is complete 180. I am still in pain when I get up in the morning or in the afternoon. I'm sorry, because I work the overnight shift. When I first get up, I can usually stumble to the bathroom. I take a dose of Kratom, and then I lay back down between 30 minutes to an hour, depending upon the flare-up I'm having at that time. The longer I sleep, the more pain I'm in. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer for the Kratom to do its magic. Once the Kratom kicks in, the pain is actually gone. Like gone. Okay? You get that same motivational feeling you get after you've had that first cup of coffee in the morning? When you first get up and you have that first cup of coffee and all of a sudden there's rainbows and flowers and hearts everywhere. Okay? That's about the gist of the high you get from Kratom. Alright? It did help me with the withdrawal as I was getting off my prescription medications. But when I started Kratom, I wasn't on the antidepressants or the Lyrica at all. I was just down to Percocet and Flexeril. Okay? But I would suggest you not. I don't know. Do that. My regimen is, let me see if I get my Kratom. I take, let's see, when I get up in the morning, I take 1,600 milligrams of ashwagandha root. Let's see if you can see that. I take 2 of these capsules with the Kratom. And I'm almost out of the curcumin, so I don't know if I have any tramadol left. My soy, maybe flavors, gosh, apples. Here we go. And then this is, I take between 1,000 and 1,500 milligrams of this. And then depending upon the flare, I take 1 or 2 spoonfuls of powdered Kratom. And within 30 minutes to an hour, I can get out of bed and go on with my life. Now, whether or not I choose to get out of bed and go on with my life is up to me. Because you know, I don't, my children are either grown or teenagers. You know, I have one teenager and then 2 grown sons. So they don't need the constant care that small children need. And, but yeah, I can get up out of bed. I can go about my life. When I get home in the morning, I usually take my last dose of Kratom about 3 in the morning at work. And then when I get home a little after 6, depending upon how stressful of a night I've had at work, I will take some of this kava that I get from iHerb.com, and I will put links in the description. But I take this, mix it with some water or my decaf coffee. This also helps with anxiety. It's a relaxing root, but it will make you sleepy. So I wouldn't suggest taking, using this before driving or working or whatever. That's my regimen. It sounds like I have a cold, and I don't. Just a cough. I haven't had the flu in years. I haven't had a very bad cold in years. Usually if I start feeling like I'm going to get a cold, then I do the vitamin C, zinc, and echinacea regimen. And that usually clears things up in a few days. Don't have allergies. I did lose some weight. My depression's under control. My anxiety is better. It's not cured. But I can deal with my triggers, like driving in bad weather. I'm now capable of driving in bad weather. I still feel anxious, but I'm at least driving in bad weather. Whereas before, even on the prescription drugs, I couldn't hardly even leave my house, let alone drive in bad weather. Just from my personal experience, I don't understand the drama with this plant. We went through this with marijuana, and I can tell you my personal experience with marijuana. I grew up in a family of pot smokers. Nobody killed anybody. Nobody robbed any stores. Nobody drove and killed anybody that way. There was no violence in my family of pot smokers. In fact, my mother, who is an alcoholic, was so much happier if she only smoked and didn't drink. Once she started drinking that alcohol, forget about it. And I'm not even going to go into detail with my childhood. But I tell you, my uncle and his family are the most loving people in the world. He worked. Everybody worked, The only illegal thing that they ever did was growing and smoking marijuana. That was it. They weren't violent people. I mean, it's like they blame marijuana, and they did this decades and decades ago. They propagandized marijuana and said it was this gateway drug, and it was this evil thing, and it made people psychotic and all of that. In my personal experience, it didn't do that. But if you go and mix that marijuana with other things, shit can happen. And it's the same with Kratom. If you mix Kratom with synthetic drugs, things can happen. Okay? But if you're using Kratom with other herbs, it is absolutely the safest thing in the world to do. It doesn't cause respiratory depression. If you do overdose on Kratom, you're going to throw up. Your body's going to reject it. So you cannot overdose to the point of death. It's not physically possible. If I take, there have been times, I will admit, where the pain has been so bad that I've taken 3 spoonfuls of Kratom all at once, okay? And within 10 minutes, I'm worshiping the porcelain god. And I'm throwing that shit up. And you learn really quick. You can't overdose on kratom. You just can't do it. You will throw up. You will not suffer any other way other than that. Okay? And then, in my case, usually within 10 minutes after throwing up that excess kratom, I'm fine. And I'm still in pain. And of course, you don't want to take more kratom because you just overdosed. Duh. So you do have to suffer with the consequences of thinking, oh, I'm just going to take a shitload of kratom. You do have to wait a few hours, a couple hours, something like that, before you want to try to dose again. But you'll learn really quick. I learned really quickly my limit, okay? And everybody's limit is going to be different because our bodies are all different. You might not even be able to take a whole spoonful, okay? You might only be able to take half a spoonful. You might only be able to take a couple capsules. I would not recommend the smoke shop kratom. I've tried the smoke shop kratom. It does zero for me. You're paying $30 for a bottle of 30 capsules. It's a waste of money. Don't do it. Like I said, I'm going to put links in the description. I'm going to put my iHerb link in the description, and I'm going to put the Laughing Lions link in the description for my kratom that I use from Laughing Lions. They're very reliable. They're very helpful. Matt is awesome. He's the owner. His team is awesome. And now it's turning into a sales video, and I don't want that. So I don't know. I'm physically and emotionally better on the kratom, and it scares me that they're trying to ban it outright. If Big Pharma does get a hold of the I hate to use the word chemicals, but in the plant itself, they actually if they start adulterating the kratom, that's when it's going to get dangerous. Seriously. And that's what Big Pharma wants to do, okay, is they want to patent the formula in the plant so that they can make drugs out of it. It's perfectly safe the way it is. It is perfectly safe. And like I said, once you find a reputable vendor, and you want to look for somebody that they have to be transparent. Laughing Lions is very transparent. Their warehouse is very sanitary. They test the product when it comes into the country to make sure it's unadulterated. They're just very careful. They are regulating themselves in the way that it should be regulated. And you want a kratom vendor that is saying, look, instead of banning this plant, regulate it. You want to find a vendor that will regulate, that will agree to regulations. And it sounds scary. Oh my God, the government. Okay. Most kratom vendors want their product to be pure, natural, and safe, because in its pure form, it is safe to use and it is actually helpful. Okay. But again, now we're getting, I'm just... I don't know what else to say, really. I am a million times better using my supplements than I was before the prescription drugs or during the prescription drugs. Now, prescription drugs work for you? Great. Like I said, we're all different. Our bodies are all different. They didn't work for me. And to take away a plant, and then on top of that, limiting access to prescription pain pills, like they're doing too. I mean, you're not going to solve the problem doing that, okay? I don't know how. I don't think that they should have started selling the kratom in the smoke shops, because that just automatically makes it taboo when they start doing that. But they've already done that, and that was not a good idea. And like I said, it does nothing for me, and I've tried different brands and they just do nothing for me. So I will put some links in my description, some places you can check out. The American Kratom Association has a lot of information, and Laughing Lions is where I get my kratom. And do what you want, but I've had so much success with this plant. I mean, that's really all I can say. I'm just repeating myself. So, I mean, that's it. Alright, I gotta go make dinner. Alright, later days, guys. Later days.